Hello, Cancer friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Cancer February 2024 Astrology Horoscope forecast. This is for you if Cancer is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Cancer placement you're watching for or listening for. What we're going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Cancer friend, so birthdays like July 15th through the rest of the sign, or Cancer placements 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Leo report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. I'm calling the theme of this month Strange Stars, mystical, magical, odd, and you will see why. Plus, we'll talk about all kinds of other things to help you make the most of the starry possibilities this month. If you are listening to the podcast version, you can see the chart that I'm using now as the thumbnail for the podcast, if you want to just have a look. And if you are on the YouTube version, I will be referring back to the chart as I'm pointing out things that I can show you visually. And then I'll go back to my list and some other visuals in my slideshow. We've got a lot of things to cover, so I've kept myself organized here with my little list so I can stay on track. The first important thing to talk about before we get into the theme is these last bit of Capricorn energies that are starting the month of February. It's unusual that we have such a strong Capricorn layover into February. Usually by now, the energies are pretty strongly into Aquarius, and you can see we've started, the sun is there, and Pluto has made its way back there. That's a long-term transit. We'll talk about that later. But the point is that Venus, Mars, and Mercury are all still in Cap at the beginning of the month. And so let's talk about what that means. We want to use that energy as well as possible because it's much better for disciplined, tedious tasks. It's much better for organization and for action. We will have a month full of action opportunities, that is for sure. We'll talk about that more later as well. But as the planets get into Aquarius, it's going to be a little bit more in the mental zone, in the talking zone, and it may be a little bit harder to bring those things from that space down. So if you use this energy at the beginning of the month for your physical actions, as you start to get more distracted with those Aquarius energies, you'll be glad that you got that stuff done. All right, so the second thing to note is that all of those Cap placements are crowding your seventh house of relationships. So you've got, a lot of opportunities to find solutions for relationship issues, for finding people to help you with things, your perfect, provider of services, and for you, if you're a provider of services, to expand your clientele and just in general merge into relationships and, collaborate and combine with people. So lots of opportunities for that. We'll talk about that more. There's another layer of that coming as well, but that's one layer. And then the last thing to know about these Cap energies that linger towards the beginning of February is that they are still in opposition to your Capricorn placement. To your Cancer placements. Cap is your opposite. 180-degree angle means push and pull, things being pulled in either direction, and the activation of your me-we sector, as I like to call it, the first house and the seventh house. So you might have a lot of things that you need to do, while at the same time people in your life are needing things. So it's a great opportunity to activate your superhero self, as I like to call it, the opposition, because you have a good chance of keeping all the balls up in the air. You'll just be feeling it. You'll be stretched, and there will be a lot to do. And so you'll notice that especially at the beginning of the month. All right, now we can get on to my theme of the strange stars, the mystical, magical, odd, and I'll show you what I'm talking about there. As Venus, Mars, and Mercury move from Capricorn, they go into Aquarius. So as the month progresses, we have Venus, Mars, Mercury, Pluto, the sun, plus on February 9th, we additionally have the new moon at 20 degrees of Aquarius. That's 6 placements in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, which rules the weird and the wonderful and the eccentric and the odd and the idiosyncratic and the strange. Okay, so these energies are just really excessive, and it's very unusual that we have so much energy in Aquarius at one time. So look out for the unconventional, look out for lightning strike genius ideas. This is a time where doing something new and different can be very well indicated, and where you might have, something that may seem strange, where you start out by saying, okay, this might sound strange, but, and then you kind of proceed to share what you're working on. This is an amazing time for genius things put into motion, like patents, or other creations of content or other resources. And besides having all of this Uranus-related, transit activity, plus the new moon, we also have a lot of aspects with Uranus, for better or worse. I'll give you a couple of those later on, but I just want to point out here that that's one of the layers of these weird, kind of strange stars. This is, not common, and it is very forward-thinking, very futuristic, very AI. You might see opportunities to incorporate AI into your personal or business life. I'm not saying that AI won't have some drawbacks. We're not having that discussion right now. But, it's definitely a time to step out of your comfort zone and step into how your life can be helped by technology, basically, and by the power of the group, okay? Aquarius energy talks about the power of the team, the power of the group, the power of the community, and you lending your voice to a bigger organization, you showing up to help a group or a team, you finding your tribe, like-minded people. This also rules friendships and social circuits and internet connections, as well as in-person connections. It rules networking. So you may have lots of opportunities that come through those venues. And it may be a time to say yes if someone's trying to get you to meet other people. Okay, so we've got, the strangeness with this Aquarius energy is coming out. And now let's talk about some other unique things that are happening right now that aren't always what we're working with. One of them is that all the outer planets, that's Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, are all going to be going direct as of January 27th. This doesn't happen often, but it is going to be going through May 2nd. So these are unusually open stars, ripe and ready for forward movement. And you can have phenomenal progress in a short amount of time. And I'm calling the time from January 21st to March 20th the really open stars, because that's the portion of time that starting on the 27th at least, but, from the 21st through March 20th, we have all of the personal planets. So the ones closer to us, Mercury, Mars, Venus, they're not in retrograde and they're not in a shadow period. And so we've got what I call the open period of stars for forward movement. So this is the time to launch your ships, commitments, big moves, big, scheduling or engagements, weddings, commitments, mergers, big sales, big purchases, investments, moves, job changes, starting a business, launching your life's work. All of these are really wide open. And once it's January 27th, you'll have both the personal planets completely out of shadow and, direct at the same time as having all the planets direct, the outer planets direct. So it's a very unusual time of progressive movement. This word progressive is something to consider this month because, it is forward thinking. It is unique. It is different. And, it can be very weird. And eccentric for sure. So you've got your time period. Now, if you want to know the open stars for the rest of the year, then go to anniehelpsyou.com and sign up for my secret star portal. That's where I have my written horoscopes and also my 2024 direct and retrograde calendar. So you can plan ahead. We'll have a Mars retrograde later. There's a lot to know. If you use these windows that I talk about, you can get a heads up through there. But in any case, it is very important to use this energy because ambitions will be high. Mars is involved here. Oomph, action, Venus, love, money, relationships, self-esteem, Mercury, news, information, education, the sun, lighting up any dark spaces. All of these themes are going to be, expressed through the energy of Aquarius. And so there will be lots of possibilities. And you'll want to take really good advantage of these open stars. This is, if you're not familiar with my analogies, I like to explain the open stars as being the time where you set your boat afloat to go with the tides out. Like, let's say you're in a deserted island, you're trying to get off. If you put your boat out when the energies are in retrograde, it just kind of goes back to shore because you're paddling against the tide, right? So now in February, we're in this open period of time where you'll get supported for going out to the open sea. So energetically, if you think of anything you want going out far and wide, those are the kind of things to launch now. And if you want to see a list of the sweet dates for that, I'll give you a couple later. And then again, the anniehelpsyou.com this time, if you sign up for the free VIP email, I do have my list of sweet dates that you can, help to align here, but I will give you a couple as well. So we've got open stars, we've got all of this alignment. Now let's talk about the part of this that's mystical and magical, okay? Because that's another layer. So as the planets get into Aquarius, specifically for Cancer, those energies are going to accentuate the 8th house. The 8th house is an unseen realm of magic and mysticism, of psychology, of that deep place from where our behavioral traits come from. The magic, the esoteric, all of those things are getting lit up by every single one of these placements, including the new moon. So we've got the odd elements with the Aquarius, but we have the magical, mystical elements with Scorpio, which is the 8th house, which is what's lit up for Cancer. So, going deep into things, deep diving, obsessive study or research, or kind of obsessive action or committing to things that are important to you can, be very well indicated at this time. Now, the next big thing we have to talk about is that it's eclipse season again. We had a doozy of an eclipse cycle ending at the end of 2023 when that Scorpio-Taurus eclipse cycle that was in effect from 2021 to 2023 ended. October was a very intense month for many people. Now that's behind us, and we've had an integration period, and now our next eclipse season opens February through May 2024. The actual eclipses happen March 25th, which is the lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Libra. April 8th, we've got the solar eclipse at 19 degrees of Aries. We have to talk about this in February and not wait until March because the eclipse season starts 4 to 6 weeks before the actual eclipses. And it drags until 4 to 6 weeks or so after. Could even be longer than that in either direction, but certainly February is active with the types of information that the Aries, Libra, me, we polarity, the pattern that started last year, the beginning of 2023, you'll start to see these things come back around again. Autonomy, individuality versus partnership, codependency, interdependency, these sort of topics are going to be coming up. They've got a storyline that started in early 2023 and go until early 2025. If you want to have a frame of reference for when this happened before to kind of see some similar themes, we had this eclipse cycle 2013 to 2015, 2004 to 2006, 1995 to 1997 if you were around then. And, that doesn't mean that all the things that happened then will happen now, because obviously we have a lot of stars that are different now than were then. But these themes having to do with you versus other people are going to be the spirit of what goes on. Now, the me-we polarity is true for all signs, but the specific energies for Cancer, for the houses, have to do with home versus work. Mom and dad energies, parental authority versus, your outer authority versus your inner authority, intuition versus logic, jobs, employment versus home and location of living and housing. So you may have some moves, you may have topics involving, work versus home versus moving versus working from home versus, all of these things are going to be the theme of last year, this year, and to early 2025 as you kind of set your balance, find your place in all of it. And a lot of things involving parents might also be coming up in a big way, and yourself as a parent as well. So think of this pot that is on the fire, the eclipse. When we're out of eclipse season, it's just sort of on a very low flame. Not much is happening. The water's not really bubbling up, but things could still happen in between eclipse cycles. But 4 to 6 weeks before the eclipse, we start to turn the heat up, which means that things are bubbling more in this pot of manifestation. So February, it increases the chance for manifestation along the lines of the eclipses. And then in March and April, it's like bubbling over and steaming all over the place. And then the heat gets turned down a bit in May. Then it just sort of comes back again to, how it was in February where it started to brew, but it's kind of starting to trail off. So that will be the cycle of manifestation for these eclipses. But you can get news and information at any time. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is full moon in Virgo, February 24th. Full moons bring completion, fruition, drama, manifestation. In the energy of Virgo has to do with work, your daily routine, what you do every day, your daily surroundings, pets, animals, your health. So something could come to fruition or come up there. I love the fact that this is in a nice angle for you. All right, so this is happening in the third house for you. This is making a 60-degree angle for Cancer placements, which is an angle of opportunity. So hopefully that sweet connection will help bring nice things for you at this time. All Cancers can feel these goodies, but June born, you have a chance for extra manifestation because you're closer to that 5-degree where it's occurring. So if you have a placement of Cancer next to 5 degrees, I'd say from 0 to 10 degrees, closer to 5, the more intense, you're more likely to see a manifestation, but the magic is still available for everybody. Watch out on the days of February 8th and 16th. We've got some jolts with Uranus. I told you this is a very, Uranus-led month with all that Aquarius energy that rules the wacky, weird, wonderful, and wild. It also rules, especially in a difficult angle, erraticness, instability, sudden jostling, and news that we may not like. Also, the whole month, it's very electric. So just be careful with electric, especially the whole month, but in the days around the 8th and 16th. Don't take any chances. Don't clean the toaster oven when it's plugged in. Things like that. We've got some yay dates on the 7th and the 13th, where we've got nice aspects with Venus. First, we've got happy surprises coming from a nice aspect with Uranus in the days around the 7th. What's not to love about sweet, sudden surprises and love and money and self-esteem, right? This could manifest as a gift or a purchase of an item that you've been wanting. It's very materially focused. And it's also talking about the topic of value. Value can have a monetary value, like a financial value, but that's not the only value that can come up, And on that topic, February 13th, the energy of values can come up again as Venus in Capricorn makes a nice angle with Neptune and Pisces. This is a dreamy, intuitive, and artistic type of energy, and it rules, looking beyond the material at the spiritual values, the emotional values, the aesthetic values, and all of these things are increased in likelihood. Since these are, this is happening on the 13th, that puts our U.S. Valentine's Day in this nice web of energetics for this. This whole month is really full of opportunities for engagements and weddings and important big steps, with all of these energies moving forward. If you like the dates and you want more, definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in to join my free VIP community. You can access the archives through the welcome letter. You can look for the February 2024 astrology to see my write-up and the sweet dates and the salty dates. And I put those out a month ahead, so they'll be out at the end of December. I'm going to post this a little bit before, so there might be a little bit of time where I haven't sent it yet if you sign up early. Definitely check out my Secret Star portal where I have my written horoscopes plus all kinds of stuff. You can see that there. And if you want to learn astrology and you resonate with how I teach, then you can see my Learn How to Read Charts in 6 Basic Steps through my Astrology Basics and Beyond course. Or you can join my very comprehensive astrology certification course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Certification course, which you can fully utilize even if you don't want to do astrology professionally. It just teaches you everything you need to know about doing readings to help yourself and your family and friends. If you're a newbie, I can take you from ground zero to professional astrologer. If you have been studying a while and you need help integrating everything that you know into solid readings and getting the confidence to ask for money and expect money from this pursuit, I can help you with that. And I also help you to learn the intuition, which is the art of astrology, at the same time as the science of astrology. So you can check all that out at anniehelpsyou.com. The link is also in the notes underneath the video or podcast. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.